Okay, we're at the entrance to Hot Row right here, and this is the main facility building where the tactical nuclear weapons that we stored here would be loaded through, checked, inspected, maintained constantly, deployed back out. They would get on a slider system, which we can't have access to. Down below, I think they've been sealed over the years, and then shot down the line here on Hot Row for different tactical reasons, where they're going to be pulled out or just sitting. And there were many, many, many kilotons of tactical nuclear bombs in this building at that time during the incidents, secretly housed here. And this whole thing was jam-packed with tactical nuclear weapons. You see the blast walls down this way. I mean, none of that would have saved anything, but it's all precautions. A lot of this is also satellite defense for the Russians, even though the Russians knew what we had here because they watched what's being put in and pulled out. You can see the venting there, and they're going down to the lower levels below these. They're not just one garage level here. It's all subterranean along here, and it goes way down. And all lead line, lead shield. There is a curb there, and basically, you know, any of these things, they come out on racks, big racks with wheels, lots of armed security around them. Guys over there, up on the hills and the towers, and then specialized vehicles would come and take them away, and they'd be loaded on aircraft sometime and just removed to another base. They were transferred a lot, Germany or wherever else, or just sitting here. Then you'd see the radiation, radiac detector, people always in here, and you know, checking out the area, disaster preparedness and things like that, they're called. And but this is where all that was kept. It continues down further. The brown building down there is where all the biological warfare was stored. And I think the biologic symbols are still on the wall, the biohazard symbols. And any waste from any of this material, I didn't work with these nuclear weapons. They were small, they were tactical, but they had a 1 mile blast radius on a battlefield level, and that's what they'd do. There were no launch facilities here or anything, but it made it a first strike, and it made a capability for Russia, and it also makes this of extreme defense significance, these alleged events that aren't alleged, that happened over 3 nights, and then some more on this base. And they have to stop that lie, and they have to start being honest about, first of all, the arsenal we had here that was potentially threatened by someone else. I mean, it's not a movie, it happened. It's a contentious issue, with the nukes with certain personnel that used to be stationed here, and perhaps guys that went through the UFO incidents. I got angry enough when people were saying it was no defense significance would happen, seeing that it affected so many lives of people participating in it, that I got angry and upped the ante, and I said, and I didn't want to hurt my country or anything, but I said, well, it was defense significance because we had nukes there. And thus it cost me my U.S. passport to keep me from coming to England at that time. I had to reestablish that I was a U.S. citizen. This all went through the Department of the State, acting on orders on the Department of Defense, just because I talked about this. And it took former U.S. Attorney General under 2 presidents, Ramsey Clark, thank God, coming to our aid to help me get that back. And that is a first of any alleged whistleblower in this subject matter, and it happened to me, where I was absolutely documented, had my U.S. citizenship affected, my passport kept so they contained me in the country, and I couldn't talk anymore over here. Because where I first talked about this was in a conference in Nottingham, England, where I said, well, we had nuclear weapons. And we did, and it was defense significance. It's important to people everywhere to know. Wonder if something went wrong. These ordnance were adversely affected by this phenomena, whatever it is, whatever it represents. If it went off, that was it. There'd been a chain reaction. We wouldn't be here. I sure wouldn't have been. And so, when they keep lying about these things, and what disturbs me is people that will talk about the UFO incident to one degree or another, and yet not talk about the ordinance that was here that makes it an extreme defense significance. And of course, I'm told the UFO subject's classified higher than the bomb, and yet these guys won't even talk about the bomb. So I'm wondering about, how free are they to talk about the UFOs? But I had no problem with it. I got pushed enough. I saw enough damage to the human species here and what certain people or agencies did after or were allowed to do. So, the games are off with me anyway, and I'll stand here today. This was a nuclear storage facility with tactical nuclear weapons. And they're not very big, they're aircraft deployed.